Okay, what we've seen now, period, end of story. LeBron James was made for the regular season. He's a regular season dynamo. He's made for our Sports Center plays of the night because he's always #1 in the regular season. But come postseason time, postseason, he's the most overrated, overhyped superstar in my history in this business. Seriously, that's my bottom line to this discussion.
LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, it's very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat.
We're going to challenge each other in practice. And the way we're going to challenge each other to get better in practice, once the game starts, I mean, it's going to be easy.
But we also know you three kings came down here to win championships. Not one, championships.
Not two.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Hey.
Does it bother you that so many people are happy to see you fail?
Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, all the people that was rooting on me to fail, at the end of the day, they got to wake up tomorrow and have the same life that they had before they woke up today. They got the same personal problems that they had today. I'm going to continue to live the way I want to live and continue to do the things that I want to do with me and my family and be happy with that. So, they can get a few days or a few months or whatever the case may be on being happy about not only myself, but the Miami Heat not accomplishing their goal, but, they got to get back to the real world at some point.
Desk, Stephen A. Smith. Next topic, the tweet heard round the world. LeBron tweeting yesterday to John Clayton. He wanted to know when was the deadline for NFL teams to sign free agents. And man, did that cause a stir. Stephen A., you had a particular problem with it. Go.
Well, he came out and he acknowledged later on that he was joking, if I hear correctly. My whole point with LeBron James is that he just needs to be quiet. The NBA had just canceled the first 2 weeks of the season. People, over in excess of $200 million is being lost. People losing their jobs and things of that nature. And here you are joking as usual. I have no problem with them tweeting because players tweet all the time. Mm-hmm. That's not the issue. It's the fact that he was joking, and it was the timing of his joke that I have a problem with. You need to focus, okay, on getting a deal done, getting a collective bargaining agreement reached, so you can get back on the court and make up to millions upon millions of fans who watched you wet the bed in the fourth quarter. That's what you need to be doing. I don't want to hear anything about football. I don't want to hear anything about anything else. I don't want to hear about their sneakers. I have no problem with Carmelo Anthony, his sneakers, but they got to win too. And Amari Stoudemire being up here yesterday with his tight suit on and all that. I have no problem with that either. I got no problem with none of that. But LeBron James, it is time. And the reason that I say it's time is because he's the one with the tattoo, the chosen one. He's the one with the King James. I want to hear stuff. He's a great guy, and he's got to deal with a lot of stuff. And we, bottom line is he's a great person, okay? And we shouldn't even be focused on anything but his game. But his game has come up short time and time again. And the one other thing that I want to say, Skip, before I leave this to you, and I'm dead serious about this. There's something about LeBron James that's really starting to alarm me. You got titles, King James, chosen one. None of the great guys, they shun all of that until they won a championship. It's like he wants to be crowned with no rings. You don't get to do that. You got to get it done. And I've been holding off on it because I disagreed with Skip totally. But to lose in the finals the way that he did, and then to come out here with the smile on your face like that, the world is just beautiful. I don't understand it. Champions don't do that. They just don't. That's what I wanted to say.
Sounds familiar.
Why are you so hard on this poor man?
That is funny coming from you. That is hysterical. Oh my God. You of all people.
Do you have something personal against this man?
You know what?
That's all I've ever heard for 5 years.
Listen, Skip, it's got me to the point. I never dreamed that I would see LeBron James not show up in the fourth quarter the way he did for 4 straight games in the NBA Finals. But then to come out and to say what he said in the aftermath of that press conference, people are just going to go back to their regular old lives. And to walk around all summer long, city to city, state to state, wherever he is, big fat smile on his face like, it's no big deal that we lost and I embarrassed myself in the NBA Finals. It's no big deal. I can't take it no more. Enough.
I'm shocked.
Enough.
Yep, I'm shocked.
Enough.
Stephen A.
Got to get it done.
Stephen A.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, my God.
Stephen A., it is shocking because you've come a lot closer to where Skip is on this topic.
Listen, I have, because, but no, I always disagree with him. But now LeBron James has given substance and credence to the argument that Skip Bayless was making about him. Who defended him all of these years?
You have.
It's too much, man. It's just too much.
Allow me to psychoanalyze my friend Stephen A.
Go ahead, please.
Because I believe I know you better than you know yourself.
Oh, God.
A lot of this is coming from a place of, how dare you guys take my NBA away from me? You're in mourning. You said he should have been in mourning. We should be in. You're in mourning because you love this game.
Yes, I do.
This has been your life, your lifeblood. It's what you want to talk about. Not that you don't want to talk about the NFL and baseball and whatever else, but this is what you love.
You're right.
National Basketball Association. And for the first time in a long time, it has been pulled right out from under you when it's time to go. This is the time where we should be nearing the start of a season here. And it's looking farther and farther away. And it is killing you. So you want him to shut up because this is dire straits time. You want him at the negotiating table, not at the keyboard.
Something there? It makes sense.
No. Skip is completely right. That's not all there is to it, but every word that he just said is 100% correct. I absolutely do feel that way. But the other issue, like I talked to before, is I've spoken to champions. I've spoken to Hall of Famers throughout my career.
I agree
and they talk about the price that they paid in order to win, to be crowned champions. And this guy is walking around like he won the title. It bothers me. Enough. You got to get it done. Period. No more excuses. No more. I don't care about what products you're selling. I don't care about what you do through November, through May, assuming there's going to be a game. I care about what you're going to do in terms of putting rings on your finger so Skip Bayless, myself, and everybody else can shut up. It is time. I'm tired of this man being celebrated. For what? We know you're great. How about winning? Win for once.
Just win. Yeah.
Just win, baby.
Welcome
just
to the dark
win.
side. You have
Al Davis, just win.
Yeah.
That's it. Enough.
Enough said.
I have to say, victory, Skip Bayless. You have changed Stephen A's mind on something I never thought.
LeBron changed my mind.
He's been saying this for years,
yeah,
Stephen
but
A,
LeBron,
and you debated him on it.
And I always fought for LeBron. But now he walks around like he's won something.
All right.
You haven't.
Look, 90 seconds, and I know it's just fun.
Yep.
We've seen other guys go from basketball to football, and none of them were the freaks in basketball that this guy is. He was all-state in the state of Ohio in high school, I know. Could he play in the NFL?
Easily, without question. This guy's a freak of nature. That's one of the reasons he annoys me so much now. He can do it all. He's one of the greatest athletes we have ever seen. He is a freak of nature. He is a locomotive. He is an unstoppable presence. I don't know what position he can play.
Part of a champion you say he lacks. He needs more of that in football.
He unquestionably lacks the heart of a champion.
He needs more of that heart though in
Unquestionably.
football.
That's true, but there's a lot of guys that play on the level, but they don't show up in big moments. But they
LeBron James will want no part of the contact required to play in the National Football League. I don't believe he's mentally or physically tough enough to be a star.
To be a star. He's physically tough enough. Yes,
I don't think he would be able to take it
He
on a
didn't want
Sunday.
no part of the contact in a high school practice.
Well, that's true.
Because he saw the money down the line.
But there's an injury risk. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. There you have it. Our LeBron James talk. Stephen A. Very strong. We're going to take a break.
Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. You heard it right there, folks. And you can't say I did not give you a gift for Christmas. I gave the LeBron fans the biggest gift for Christmas that shows that LeBron James is not the GOAT, not top 5, not top 10. His career started as a joke. And let's see if they try to copyright strike me. If they do, I'll probably keep it up a day, but we'll see what happens. All you have to do is go back and look at it. A lot of things in life, you just got to go back and look at it, folks. You can dig up the truth about anything. History is history. And what history tells us is that LeBron James' career is a fraud. It's a fraud, folks. And Stephen A. Smith. Oh boy, that's a good one, Stephen A. Smith. Wow, that's a good one. What he said about LeBron James, he was sick of this guy playing around, acting like he was a winner, not wanting to carry himself like a winner, but acting like he already had won something. This is crazy, folks. And this is basically behavior of a guy that was given riches. Some say starting in high school, but we already know starting in the NBA, Nike signed him to this, what was it, like $100 million contract for not doing nothing yet. Nothing, folks. No player in history had got signed to a deal that massive for not doing any, well, coming into the season for something that hasn't been proved. Nothing was proved from this guy. Not even in year one. He shot 41%, was a minus 44 for the season, wasn't an all-star, missed the playoffs, shot horrible from three, was a horrible mid-range shooter. Season 2, missed the playoffs, was an all-star, but what are we talking about? So basically, Nike made you go out and buy all this guy's stuff from a guy who hadn't proved nothing yet, and anointed himself the king, the chosen one. This is crazy, folks. And now they're begging him on TV in 2012, and it was still lockout, and this guy is tweeting about him playing football, and he could play football if he wanted. After he had just melted down in the 2011 finals with a super team. Before that, melted down against the Celtics as a number 1 seed overall in the playoffs as an MVP. Before that, melted down and choked against Boston, a 3 seed, as a number 1 overall seed in the playoffs as the MVP. And Kobe, they left for dead. Had to beat his opponents with no top 75 teammate after going to 3 straight finals. So what this is, what Stephen A. Smith is basically alluding to, and he didn't say it in all words, that this guy was a spoiled brat. He didn't care about winning. He didn't have to win, because they knew after Kobe, they had to promote this guy. There was no next. This is the guy they invested in to be the next. And this next guy that they invested in to take the torch from Kobe Bryant is now on a super team. The next up is doing it the wrong way. He cheated to try to win championships, and it didn't even work his first season. Imagine that, folks. 1990, because it's the same thing. They thought Michael Jordan was going to be the next. He was going to take it the torch from Magic, and he was going to Magic and Bird, and he was going to be the next. But you actually have to win to be the next. So again, just imagine Michael Jordan, who is the next, who was, somewhat like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, certain players, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, these guys were, put on a pedestal when they first came in the league. Now, some of them won when they first came in the league, some of them didn't. But these players were the next faces of the league to take the torch. Magic and Bird proved it in the 80s, yes. We proved ourselves by having that. We lived up to the next status, the standard. Okay? And then Michael Jordan eventually did that too. And then Kobe also did it. As much as people want to say, folks, you got to understand NBA history. If you don't, you have no right to speak. 97 and 98, every time Kobe and Jordan matched up, they said Kobe was the next. He was passing the torch to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was passing the torch to Kobe Bryant, and he was a bench player, folks. But they already seen how great he was going to be. And it wasn't a passing the torch to Allen Iverson, Kevin Garnett, Grant Hill, and not even Shaq, who was on his own team, folks. It was Kobe Bryant. Every time they met up, Jordan and Kobe Bryant met up in the regular season or the All-Star game, the focus was on them. Because Kobe was the next. Kobe lived up to that in the NBA Finals, in the NBA playoffs in 2000, 2001, 2003. And everybody knew that because Shaq was nothing until Kobe came into his own. right? And I ain't gonna say Shaq was nothing, but everybody needs somebody. That's what I'm trying to say. And once 2003 came, Kobe was on a whole different level. He was the best player in the league, hands down. LeBron James didn't come along as though he's the best player, no. So LeBron James even said it all through the 2000s. We got many interviews that Kobe is the best in the game. And he explained why, because of his skills. And he was talking about defense, leadership, offense, and no nonsense approach to the game. Kobe didn't care about playing around. Kobe cared about, he wanted to get more rings than Michael Jordan, more rings than Bird, more rings than Magic Johnson. I swear he wanted to be in that top 5. He didn't care about nothing else, folks. He had the money. The money didn't mean nothing to him. Because we always knew back then that the stuff that set you apart to be in that top 5 was the rings. And he wanted to be there. And trust me, he wanted more than 6. He wanted 7, 8. Trust me. So that torch was to get passed to LeBron James around this time. To, you know, maybe it would, maybe it wasn't. But LeBron had to come take that, right? From Kobe Bryant. Because Kobe Bryant was still in his prime. And LeBron was the next phenomenon. And it didn't matter. He lost in 2007. I mean, it did in a way because he melted down. But the fact is, he was going to have to prove himself by playing Kobe. And he already knew Kobe wasn't going to have it. Kobe was going to wear him out in the finals. That's why he didn't show up, folks. But anyways, like I was saying, we can get back on that in a minute. It would be like Michael Jordan losing in 90 and go build a super team with Barkley and Ewing. And sitting up there in the East would be really weak. The East competition would be really weak. And from then on, in 1990 to 91, nobody, they would be criticizing Michael Jordan. They would never give Michael Jordan no praise of being in the same boat with all-time greats, even if he won championships with Barkley and Ewing. And then Michael Jordan fails and he loses his first championship with that stacked super team. How would that look? It would look like the same way, but we look at it now with LeBron James. He didn't care about winning no champion. He's never cared about winning championships, folks. We was talking about in the other video how LeBron James, yes, he won a 2020 bubble, but he was only there because the world was shut down, sick, and dying. So he was at his best when things are at their worst. Other than that, he ain't trying to go back to another finals. He don't care. He could care less. He don't want another L. Because he's already said, not said, but he the way he plays, it's about stats. If those stats don't come, he don't care. He ain't gonna try to win versus stats. He's gonna get his stats first. It's the craziest thing you like can wrap your mind around, but it's clear to see. But this is the stuff when we watch the video from Stephen A. Smith, and we don't watch other videos. I got other videos out about Stephen A. Smith. Is trying to get this guy at one point. I think it was that same year. Yeah, it was that same year that they did end up playing. And then in the playoffs against Boston, they were down 3-2 with that super team. And Stephen A. Smith proposed that Dwayne Wade get traded to the Lakers with Chris Bosh, and they get Kobe back. And he explained that the reason why is because he thought that the Heat was going to lose to the Celtics. 2012, man, that Celtics team was really old by then, folks. And he thought that they were going to lose to the Celtics. So go ahead and bring Kobe to South Beach so he can teach LeBron how to be a killer, how to be a winner, how to be a leader. That's how bad it got, folks. That's how bad it got, folks. He was still playing. 2011, he was still playing against 90s mentality type of guys. Right? On the Mavs. You had some guys on that team. And then even if those guys didn't play in the 90s or all the 90s, those guys still had the 90s mentality as far as in high school, they were playing in the 90s. So it's a different mentality, folks. In college, they were playing 90s mentality. Some of them guys. Also, with that Boston team that had them down 3-2 in 2012, a lot of those guys is 90s mentality. They ain't scared of LeBron James, folks. They can shoot. They can play, what do you call it? I can't think of the word. But yeah, fundamental basketball. They can play this. Now, granted, the Heat did overcome almost getting beat by the Celtics. Celtics only had one more game to win. But because they were old and brittle, the Heat closed them out. And I think the Heat probably had home court advantage. But it was that bad, folks. God don't care about winning. The guy's making jokes about going to the end, and this is what he does. He makes all these jokes and says all this stupid stuff that has nothing to do with anything. I remember one time on First and 10, Skip got on him. I think they had just lost to the Magic, and it was Skip and the other guy. I forget what this guy's name. He was on there. He used to be a radio personality, not Rob Parker or Stephen A. Smith. I forget this guy's name. But him and Skip both were talking about how LeBron James didn't like to shake hands after a loss, right? Something still to this day, right? But when he wins, he's all dapping the team up, the losing team, and he's all happy. And they mentioned that this guy, before the games, he's dancing, doing all this stuff, going crazy on the bench, showing up his opponents. And then when his opponents are losing, they're down big, he's over there dancing and high-fiving, doing all the like, really? Poor sportsmanship. These are the guys, his fans, they praise this stuff. These shenanigans. Blown playoff or final series lead. LeBron did this in 2006. He took a 3-2 lead going back home against Detroit in 2006, his first year in the playoffs. 2011 against the Mavs in the finals. I think in 2015 against the Golden State Warriors. Lost as a number 1 seed. Michael Jordan never did that. Lost as number 1 seed. Of course, to Orlando Magic, 2009, 2010 to the Boston Celtics, a 3 and 4 seed. Missed the playoffs 2004, 5, 2019, 22. What's this one? Swept in the finals or playoffs 2007. We can add one more onto this. 2018, 2023. No, I think that one's on there. I think it's swept by the Denver. So I'm just saying, man. I mean, this guy has a really bad hit. I think he's got the worst choking and melting down and what do you want to call it? Sportsmanship. As a superstar, you could say a lot of other things. I mean, the sportsmanship has to do with him walking off the court, going to Miami, not 1, not 2. Why is all this a joke, man? And Dwayne Wade was there, and Chris Bosh, and I know they might not have been like, he was going to say not 1, not 2, or not 3, but why are they even there putting on a big show? I don't even understand. And people say, oh, man, they just came together. Fan appreciation. No, this should be about business. You did the wrong thing in the first place. You built a super team. After this guy melted down, it should be about business. It shouldn't be no big show or nothing like that. Then they lose. And he tells everybody to go back to their miserable life. And all this. And it's just something you don't even say nothing. If you do, you just say, oh, okay, everybody's entitled to their own feelings, their own opinions, and stuff like that. But for him to say what he said after melting down and choking in those playoffs with a super team, It's not acceptable. In 2010, Skip was right. He said he's a, I don't remember the exact words, but he's the greatest player, the greatest dynamo or something. He's pretty much great in the playoffs, but great in the regular season, but he's a failure in the playoffs. And that's why he had to change his fortunes. Well, I don't know if they want to consider the playoffs and the finals the same thing, but he was bad in the 2007 finals before, he went to Miami. It's just when you look at it, man, if this guy never plays with a super team, does he ever win a championship? Does he do it like Michael Jordan and won 3 straight championships without a super team? What about Dirk? What about Tim Duncan? What about Kobe? What about Giannis? What about Golden State? Curry? Yeah, he won 2 without a super team. What about, what did I say, Giannis, Joker? A lot of these guys, man. Does he do it? Probably not, folks. Because you see how hard it was for him to even win with the super team. With the super team, it was still hard for this guy. And don't give me the bubble wasn't a super team. Yes, it was. Dwight Howard was on that team. Dwight Howard not on that team, they don't win against Joker. It took for, who's that? Anthony Davis hit that buzzer beater. Yeah, that's what it took. I don't know, folks. This guy, the more you start to find out and dig through these videos, it just don't seem like this guy could be like top 25, because you would be ignoring a lot of guys that you would put him in front of that had a better character, didn't build super teams 3-4 times, respected the league, and basically did it right, but didn't win. People like John Stockton, Karl Malone, Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing. Well, Patrick Ewing can go around building super teams, folks. And basically not being a leader, just being a number one amongst other number ones and winning championships. And, the other guys that I mentioned. So what gives this guy the right to do those things that were wrong, that these other players that didn't win championships, they didn't do that and couldn't do that and didn't win championships, but what gives him the right to do these things and still be positioned in front of those guys? Because he ain't got no more skills than those guys. Those guys play positional basketball, and they had to have a certain skill at their position. This guy don't play no positional basketball. At a center, you got to be able to defend, have paint work. At a power forward, you got to have a certain skill, paint work, defend. Maybe shoot a little mid range up outside the paint. A small forward, defend, stretch the floor, be able to shoot the mid range and the 3 sometimes maybe. While slashing to the basket. What about shooting guard? You got to be able to shoot the mid range, the 3. Sometimes slash, sometimes facilitate, point guard, facilitate, be able to shoot the mid range and the 3. So what is this guy's? What does he do as far as his skills? Can't shoot the 3, can't shoot the mid range, can't shoot free throws, can't give you no paint work. Is basically a poor defender. So what does this guy really do at a high level besides starting at the 3-point line with a stiff arm and an elbow and charging the lane? What skill is that? And that's why you saw earlier in his career, he had so many failures in the clutch, because he was playing 90s mentality type of guys. You could take away defense, and I've been saying this for a long time, since this about 100 videos ago, and I hear people saying it now, but don't give me no credit. I done said a lot of stuff that people don't give me no credit for. The reason why it was different for LeBron James in the 2000s and half of the 2010s is because those 90s players, even though you took defense out in 2005 so he can make the playoffs, they still had that 90s mentality type of defense. Move your feet, keep your hands up without fouling. By the time 2015, everybody just got out of this guy's way. He was no more 90s guys there, no 90s mentality type of guys there no more. They screwed this guy's career up in the beginning of his prime. 90s mentality type of guys. I'm serious. GOAT status was over before it started, folks. And by the time 2015, they were left with nothing. They didn't have no other choice but to promote this guy. They was left with nothing. A loser. 2015, after those finals, 3-4 in the finals, guys. With countless meltdowns. They even had to get this guy 2 MVPs on super teams. That's how bad things were back then. So you guys tell me what you think. It's another video. Ho, ho, ho.